Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. This is Antigonus Gaming. We are back with Metaphor Refantazio. I know it's been kind of a long hiatus, but a lot of stuff happened. I got sick, and then I got sick again right after getting better, and I had internet issues, which was preventing me from uploading videos, which made it difficult to be motivated to record anything. Though I did record a couple of smaller games in the interim, so I will review those videos, and if they're good, then I'll upload them. We're back with Metaphor, picking up right after meeting Eupha and clearing out the Dragon Temple, finding out the history of the world and all that. So we're going to be picking up back in the Gauntlet Runner with Eupha, the Drakodios Spear, and everyone being there that's in our team. The Magnus brothers are not there. So it is August 19th at night. So we're in the...
So, that's the lance everyone's after.
Gauntlet Runner meeting room.
Out, young miss.
I wanted to discuss that. Unfortunately, I cannot let the lance leave my side. But to that end, what if I were to accompany you? The monster is gone, the Magla-made distortion is visibly fading from our lands, the threat looming over the island has passed. That said, if I am to be a warrior priestess, then I feel I must learn what the world is like beyond our borders. Besides, if you were to hold the lance, you would lose your powers of magic, which would be inconvenient.
So, Eupha's not wearing her helmet at the moment, by the way, which, you know, all the Bustari usually have their helmets, and she does not. So we can see her face. So I can say, wait, we lose our magic, or what do you mean? So I'll say, wait, we lose our magic?
Wait, we lose our magic powers?
Well, a flow of some protective magla surrounds you. Yet, when the lance nears you, it seems to dispel that magic. I can only assume it's one of Drakodios' powers.
What? Hold on. Protective magla? You don't think she's talking about the king's magic?
What's come over you, Strong? You seem distraught.
Look, can I talk to you for a second? There's something I want to test with Drakodios.
Will crosses swords with
this changes
Stroll,
everything.
who's using
I'll
the
say.
spear.
I was wondering how a whole dragon's worth of magla fit in such an ordinary-looking lance. Now I finally understand.
Your pardon, but might someone clarify?
He blocked it well enough, but the blow still landed. Our candidate was struck.
There's no doubt about it. This lance has the power to nullify the protection of the king's magic.
Now
That
the
means,
lance is...
as long as you have this lance, any candidate can be killed. And if Luis knows that, it explains a lot.
Now they've got the lance on the table. Most of the characters are sitting down. Gallic is flying. Hulkenberg and Neris are standing. All the rest of the characters are sitting.
Then I am well glad the brothers are not present to hear it. What a secret to have stumbled upon.
Maybe this is our chance. We can do what Grius couldn't, and this time he wouldn't see us coming.
Alright, I'll say the assassination
His
game.
plan to assassinate Luis.
Yes, that was our original mission after all.
You would use it to take a life.
Yikes. We've been blabbing in front of Eupha.
Doesn't matter. We'll need it kept quiet that we know the lance is secret, and we can't ask that of her without giving a proper explanation.
I was the one who came asking to be included. No matter how heavy or grim your burdens, I would shoulder them alongside you.
Sheesh. Not much we can say when she puts it like that.
But how would such an assassination be enacted? Those brothers will make damn sure we turn the lance over.
A stealth mission's out. Last time there were hardly any guards about and we still barely managed to survive. I'd rather not push our luck.
We need some way to keep the lance and use it to strike Luis down. Well, Captain? Any ideas?
So I'll say we give him a fake lance.
How about we give him a fake lance?
There's a thought. After all, the lance has been shut up in a temple for ages. Not even Luis would know what the real one looks like.
It is an easy thing to say. But are we even capable of making such a replica?
If you just need a visual double whipped up, that's certainly within my repertoire, what?
Oh, good. We've got a certified craftsman on board. Have at it then. Give us a lance to turn heads.
Eupha, knowing what we want to do with the lance, are you sure you still want to stick with us?
I did not falter in choosing my fate as a sacrifice, and I will not falter in this. Please, tell me everything.
Well, settle in. It's a long story.
So the prince is alive.
I know His Highness can guide us to a brighter future. Laugh at my hopes if you wish, yet
I do not know or love this prince as you do. But I can tell, by your faith, he is not one to cast others aside.
For now, we need to figure out when and where to ambush Luis. Treasonous bastard who cursed him.
Well, if we're going to trick him with a fake, there's only one answer. Saint's Day. The city will be chock full of relics by then. Perfect for a bit of cover.
'tis the same day Luis plans to attack Forden. No doubt he has the same advantages in mind. The relics will be presented at Altabury's Grand Opera House, yes?
Well then, you could try it while I'm singing. Long as I'm on stage, I can keep everyone's eyes on me.
I suppose it is time I face my destiny as well. In the name of protecting my people, I've no doubt my understanding of life itself will be tested. All I can do is hope for your support in my journey. Time to go!
Eupha, the priestess honoring her faith's truths, has become your ally.
Not just the lance, but now we've got Eupha herself. Things are looking up. Maybe you just draw people to you, like the prince did. Strange to think of an understanding of life, though. I get it. It's just not something I thought about until recently. You think a fairy could find any meaning in that?
I'll say, I'm sure you can.
I'm sure you can.
You're right. I want to believe that.
I can sense Gallica's resolve. Rank up. Rank 6. So now I can get 3 skills with
I know we'll
mage.
figure it out.
So she's got 2 more
I will
ranks
go
to
tell
go.
my brother of my departure.
Then we shall rest at the inn. 'Tis altogether too cramped in these quarters.
Cramped spaces are the foundation of camaraderie, I say. Well, to each their own.
Nerous. Ever the... Oh.
Now then,
By the way, when do we depart from this island? Not soon, I take it, Heisman.
No.
No, I imagine Nereus needs time to craft the fake bot, so let's wait until he tells us it's complete. Fidelio's recovery is a fine excuse for us to stay put. If we only need to to be there by Saint's Day, then we have some time yet to attend to other matters. We ought to hone our skills and gather more support from allies. And if Eupha really is to join us, let's make sure she's caught up to speed. Make sure she tags along. What should we talk about? The status of our quest. We got the rocks that old woman on the island is asking for, didn't we? She'll be chuffed, I'm sure. She wanted to pray for her grandchild's safety at sea, did she not? Concern for her family is only natural.
Hey there.
Hold
Getting
on.
late, let's go to bed. Alright.
Most helpful.
Cannot idly while away the time. Yet more battles await, so we should ensure our archetypes are up to the test. Well, then I believe this meal is well earned. Shall we have our fill and retire? I'd say we earned a good job.
Apologies for the intrusion.
So now
Something wrong, love?
they're in the
It's late.
inn, the sleeping quarters in the inn.
My brother had already retired for the day, so I thought I'd wait for tomorrow to tell him. But now that I find myself alone with my thoughts, I'm quite nervous.
think you'll be able to tell him yourself?
If I cannot even do that, there would be little point in leaving the island. He will understand. After all, he left long before I did.
She looks over at the bed that Will's sitting on,
What
walks
is that
over to
book?
it, sees his
Oh,
book.
it's a fantasy novel. He's never without it.
A fantasy. But what is it a fantasy of?
It's about a utopia.
It's a story about a utopia.
A utopia?
'Tis a
Eupha's
world
got the
where all
surprised
people
look on
are
her
equal
face.
and no conflict exists. Much like the world His Highness once dreamt of.
In truth, 'tis difficult to envisage. All I have known is our own island's history and doctrine, and naught beyond it. So, well, would it be all right if I read some? Remarkable.
Sits on the bed and she's looking at the book as Will holds it out. So,
Despite all the people share in common, the world is filled with myriad faiths and beliefs.
so this particular image is on the right side. You've got a large figure in like looks like some kind of a monk's robe in like a meditative pose. Then the main picture in the center shows like a tree that's all decorated and has like a light shining out of the top part as people dance around it. Then on the left side, you've got some people in robes of some kind, including hoods under some kind of like and you can see like light shining down upon them. So clearly people practicing like different types of religious rites with different types of like religious clothes.
Accordingly, those in search of spiritual meaning may seek and find many different teachings to guide them. I see. So the people of this world are free to believe as they will. Anyone may follow any god, any dogma.
So basically the opposite of the Sanctus Church.
Our legends say that the ancient world was full of all manner of beliefs too. The people of Eld worshipped many gods from many pantheons. People confronted the anxiety that haunted them.
Thinking back, some of those figures in the temple murals may have been gods.
Yes, that mural depicting myriad gods is an explanation of how this world came to be.
But ultimately, war claimed everything. Suppose that means it wasn't much of a utopia, right?
Perhaps freedom unchecked gave rise to conflict. Either way, to know the past is to ensure history does not repeat. If we are to create a utopia rooted in our world, faith is not enough. We must move onward and take action as allies.
This is a really good line. All these segments out of Moore's book, they really critique like different parts of society, and in this case, Eupha is pointing out that people will often profess faith, but then not actually act in a way that is in alignment with what they claim to have faith in. And this, in Christianity, this is often known as the faith versus works argument, but I'm sure that there's terms for it in other religions that have had the same philosophical debate. I know if you study like Confucianism, there was like debates about like human nature and whether it was actually important to like go out and do acts, or if it was pointless because people were innately evil or bad anyway, and so on and so forth. But in this case, I really think she's talking about like if you really want to achieve utopia, you need to act on you need to have faith in things that will lead to good outcomes and act on them in concert with everyone else who also is genuinely trying to do good. And while having differing beliefs can obviously lead to wars, we've seen so many wars based on religion in the world's history. If you're going to strive for the dream of utopia, which is like the whole theme of the story, right? Like that fantasy is worth fighting for, then you should have faith in something positive and try to push that vision forward in a way that's good for yourself and others at the same time. Try not to give in to the selfish or just to despair and just say, well, it's pointless and there's no reason to do anything, so I'm gonna sit here and hope and not do anything to better my situation, which is like where Eupha was before the whole incident with the temple, where she was just like, this is my fate, I'm just gonna blindly follow it, give up my life, and then, only to realize that wasn't even what the teachings of what she believed in was asking her for. That was a long-standing misinterpretation. I think I'm gonna advance. That's my spiel on that, but we've got a couple more chapters left to go through.
Because I believe that's how this must be used. This power that guides us to ideals. To walk forward, firmly, fearing nothing.
And that's where that whole faith and hope comes from. That your faith and your hope should give you the confidence to do the right thing, even in a world that is encouraging you not to do the right thing, or, you know, and to feel good about trying your best, even in spite of the fact that it feels even when it feels like, you know, that doing the right thing is pointless because the people that are being rewarded in society are the people that aren't doing the right thing or whatever. And, you know, if you want to continue to fight for a better world, even against all odds, you got to do it. You got to utilize your hope, utilize your faith in something better, to encourage you to keep going. And I think, like, when you have a disability or a health problem or whatever, that's actually just like how to get through daily life. Like, when your life is hard, you need to have something to hold on to keep going, you know? And you know, that's where that hope comes from. That, you know, if you hope and that your experiences and your inner toughness or whatever can keep you going, then, you know, maybe you'll inspire someone else to do some good too. And that's where the butterfly effect stuff comes in. And, you know, maybe I'm not that important, but I'll inspire somebody else who will be important, or somebody else who will inspire somebody else who will be important. And that's why it's always worth working for a better world, because you never know who you're going to touch, and you never know, that person might turn out to be someone who's a, you know, historical life-changing figure. And, you know, the moment that their life changed, that put them on the path that they would go on to do something great that was good for a lot of people, you know, could be anything. So it could even be something you did. So the book closes. There's my little speech.
Time marches on, and the age of a new king draws near.
And we've got a couple more chapters to go through, so now we're on to August 20th.
Your pardon?
So we're talking to Edeni now.
Eupha and the mainlanders. What is it?
Brother, I must speak with you.
So they
Until
sit down.
now, I have understood nothing. But it is not merely the teachings I failed to grasp. I did not understand Mother and Father's wishes, nor indeed their own. As the priestess, I am duty-bound to protect our village. And I would do so not with a weapon, but with understanding. Brother, please permit me to travel alongside these people.
Your own journey. I never thought I'd see the day you'd ask to leave.
So I can say I plead on her behalf, as we'll look after her. We'll look after her.
My own journey's end freed me from our customs. Perhaps, had I sought comrades and friends of my own to walk with, I would have found purpose. So be it. Go and see this world with your own eyes. As a parting gift, Eupha, I entrust this to you.
What is it?
Like a
Mother's Kakara. With this staff in hand, she would travel the lands beyond our shore, seeking to spread our teachings.
It's a wooden teal staff that's got like a raindrop shaped head with like a bunch of golden rings hanging off of it, and then there's like a smaller ring inside the like water droplet shaped top.
I did not know she'd left anything behind. I gladly accept.
I must ask, Eupha, what do you plan to call yourself once off the island?
What do you mean? I am the priestess of Verga Island. Should I be called anything else?
Indeed. To outsiders, we are only the islanders. We have hardly named a land, much less our humble village. We once saw no need for a name. We had rejected the world outside for so long, we knew but two lands. Those within our borders, and those without. Now that the truth of our traditions has been restored, we may celebrate them. And in that spirit, I would like to name our village.
Our home will have a name?
By your efforts, there is no longer any doubt. The dragon god Et is our village's guardian deity. Thus, it seems only right to call it the home of the dragon god Et. Etria. One day, after years untold, I hope Etria will be a bustling town. People from far and wide will meet here. It will be worthy of its name. At least, that is my fantasy.
I think I've found a world I want to be a part of. To that end, everyone, I look forward to our journeys together.
So, you're off to Altaberry. You'll have to watch for the tide, but you should arrive with plenty of time. If you have time yet to relax, our island home is humble, but I hope it is to your liking.
After defeating the human and saving Eupha alongside Virga Island, I gained their support. We're blazing a path to defeating Luis, saving the prince one step at a time. So, we are now on to August 20th.
Well then.
I hear a voice. There's something I'd like him to look at. So, Barden comes to mind. So, we can talk to this lady here, then we'll talk to Eupha. But I will just say one thing about Barden. Admittedly, during the hiatus, I did attempt to film some more videos after this one, and I didn't have an emergency save to go back to, so we are going to have to redo one of Barden's scenes. I think I'll probably just skip it, though, because it's already played in one of the earlier videos, so I just want to be honest about that. I did a new save and got all the way up to this point, and I was able to perfectly copy everything except for getting Barden to where he was at.
Not finished yet?
Have you brought me the Polar Stone? I'll say it took some effort.
Isn't that wonderful?
Oh, you found at least one of my stones. I can make a doll for my grandchild. You saved me. No, you saved my grandchild's life. The rumors were true. You really do have a good heart. Take care. Take care. So,
mission accomplished.
We got the some armor, some money. All three of the stones are safely back in my grasp. Words cannot express my gratitude. She also gave me a sumptuous magla feast and a divine elixir. And here, from my son, these are from. I want you to have this. Wait, I thought the whole reason you had us gather these was because you couldn't tell your family you dropped them. Yes, at first I intended to hide my mistakes, but after I sent you off, I gave it more thought. The stones are guiding tools for us fisher folk that we might find the right path. Could I really pass into my grandchild under such deception?
Fine.
Oh, they were shocked, to be sure, but in the end, all of them, even my grandchild, simply laughed and forgave me. And when I told them about you, they were all moved that you would go so far for a complete stranger. Isn't much, but we'll be supporting your bid for that. Seems like we ended up getting a lot out of this, huh, Will? So now I'm going to talk to Eupha. Don't worry, the tide will change. We'll arrive in Altaberry all the same. So something I'd like to ask and see. I'm not quite accustomed to life outside the island just yet. So to avoid any blunders on our forthcoming travels, I'd like to learn about the world ahead. And so I was wondering if you could tell me about the other towns, even if it is just a bit, so I'll say sure.
I'm quite grateful.
So she's happy, does the smile, and has all three of her eyes closed. And she does that. I talk to Eupha about the busiest, most bustling street in Grand Trad, soon the Mayo Street.
Wow.
So it's nothing like
It's nothing like Etria. Incredible. Oh wait, do people in Grand Trad have big families?
Say, I don't think so.
If it's called Sunlunio Street, then all its residents are of the Sunlunio, are they not? On the island, places are named after the people who live there, so... maybe that's not how... I'm sorry, I must come across so strange.
Eupha?
And then he walks up to us.
Brother, I'm learning about the outside world from him. If I remain naive about it, I will only be a burden.
Does living beyond our borders make you anxious, Eupha?
A little. But I shouldn't be, no? This was my own decision.
So, no, it's natural to feel nervous.
It's natural to feel anxious about new things.
Precisely, yes. The first time I left the island, I was so nervous my knees shook.
Really? Is that true, brother?
No one steps out into the unknown without some trepidation in their heart. That said, people only fear what they don't know, because they don't fully understand themselves. I believe this is your time, sister. You've heard of the trials of Malnever, have you? It is an island where a peculiar monster lives. Raised in stagnant magma, the monster reflects the anxiety of those who challenge it. And it provides those who overcome it with proof of their victory. I am one such victor, and I gained a great deal from it. I think you could stand to benefit as well, Eupha. You would count your new friends as reliable warriors. Perhaps you might tempt them with the discarded treasures and armaments of our ancestors there. It will challenge you, to be sure, but you'll walk away better for it. Before you leave, consider testing your strength.
But what if it proves too challenging?
So let's do our best together.
We'll do it together, Eupha.
The weather on the island is unpredictable at best. You won't know how dangerous it will be.
I would never send my precious sister off without regard for her safety. I have some idea of how to handle the weather. Won't you put your faith in your new friend and me? Your focus must be solely on the trial.
Will nods to Eupha. She nods back
I
to
understand.
him.
If this proof you speak of will give me the power to step boldly into my future, then I will want for nothing else.
That's the spirit. If you do decide to go, pay me a visit before heading out. I would see you all off safely.
This one's important.
Alright, it's a 6.5 difficulty. Plus, gives me some wisdom, and it will let us start Eupha's
Yes,
supporter.
that's the place.
Alright.
This place.
So it's an island to the north, but it does require
Rather
1 day of
mysterious,
camping.
isn't it? But knowing you'll be at my side, I admit, I do find my courage. A trial awaits.
Hey, hasn't that island been abandoned? I hope the magla isn't too strong.
But you'd better be prepared for the worst, okay?
So let's see here. So that conversation kind of reminds me of the Bilbo quote from The Lord of the Rings, where he tells Frodo that it's dangerous business leaving your front door. If you don't watch your step, there's no telling where you could be swept off to. So, I've always really liked that quote. When we are born, our world is very small, and we're in the inn or in the pub, by the way, getting information from the informant. When we're born, our world is quite small. It's our house or our apartment or whatever our living quarters may be, and then the area right around that. And then it grows a little larger. It becomes whatever school we happen to go to. And depending on where we live, maybe the bus we take to get there, or the distance that we walk through every day. And as we get older and older, we get these opportunities, and not everybody gets the chance to travel abroad. Some people financially can't do it, or they have other things that hold them back, like illness or crippling fears around traveling, or any other number of obligations or something. I've traveled out of my home country like 3 times. I recently went to Italy, and that was amazing. I love ancient cultures and ancient ruins and things like that. So, being able to see all that stuff was huge. In Eupha's case, she's traveling from a very ancient culture to see large cities that are, much more, technologically advanced than where she's living. That doesn't necessarily mean that the people there are better people than in Mustari, but it'll be a different experience for her. So we're gonna
Want in on this?
get the info on So the boss in the trial has companions that strengthen it. It hits with wind magic, weak to fire. There's bird enemies that don't like it when you're up close. There's a bird monster in the Orbois path. This is where
Just between us.
Juna wants to go. They repel non-magic attacks, fire's effective, and regular enemies there use frostbite. And then there's another one of the 3 spires. There's one more spire in the Altaberry region. There's a giant monster there, and that's so far south that requires 3 days of travel.
But wait,
The Spire of Blind Faith.
We'll face
So
danger here.
the island is in the middle of the archipelago, but there's all these whirlpools and stuff, so the paths to get to these places are bizarre
Here's
and
where we are
winding. And this one, just like
between
also
us.
weak to fire and pierce, there'll be guns and fire magic. There's a Ujif stall in that sells stuff. So there's village trading, Virga Island. Yeah, that was like a Ujif guy who works at a stall who. So you know, when you have to buy these things to unlock certain shops. So this is just more recipes. And then the one I didn't buy was the Dragon's Temple, because we actually went through that without using that information. So Will can give a speech here, but there's no candidates to debate because other than Batlin, nobody else, and the Magnus brothers, nobody else really comes to Virga Island. Yeah, so this video is going to be a little bit shorter than my usual like 1 to 2 hour videos, just because it's been a while since I've recorded anything. Just trying to get back into the flow of recording stuff. So we'll be back with probably a more like a 1 hour video next time as I work back into the groove of streaming and recording. I'm hoping to be able to put out content several days a week, like I was when I was going through Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Remake. Yeah, so thank you for joining us. We'll be back with a longer video as we start doing some of the side questing and stuff like that around Virga Island. And back on the mainland, as we can start Juna and Eupha's quest lines, and then possibly finish some of the earlier ones like as well. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back with more Metaphor Refantazio, and then once we're done with this game, we will. I have other games already that I'm definitely going to play for this channel. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we hope to see you back soon. So